Hello folks, and welcome to my first of a series of installments for World of Warcraft Legion's playthrough, which I call the Adventure Log. What this basically entails is very simplistic, the overview and playthrough of all the interesting things and story-wise bits of the World of Warcraft Legion zones and all of the other sort of, kind of plot-based quest lines. So that's a little series I've got some planning, and today I'm starting off pretty easily with, of course, the playthrough, getting the artifact weapon, getting some preparations done, as you can see. So what does this exactly entail? Well, basically it's gonna show you all the interesting bits and, well, whatever other things I can find that I find, well, in any way reminiscent to the plot. So it starts off, of course, as basic as you can get. The Legion is here, and now we finally get to kick its ass. But of course, to do that, we need to get, well, to the place where we can get it. So we get we get the pinky thing to give us a quest, and then it's just off to Dalaran for a little chat. Now the place is still being all covered in demons. And apparently, Khadgar has some kind of ingenious plan that's going to get us through this. Though I can't exactly imagine it's going to end well. I guess we just have to wing it. So we just get into. So I just find it. As you can see, the whole place is still covered in demons. The sky just doesn't look very pretty for us. So I find Khadgar, and as you can expect, he is covered in just about everybody who wants to get there. So we just chat him up a bit, and we go for our little trip, eventually. But, so, what do I think about the expansion? Well, I've played enough of it, and I gotta say that it looks interesting. So, I can't exactly read this. But it seems that we need to make our move, of course, on the Broken Isles. So, Khadgar and his buddies have a bit of a plan. As you can see, the whole place now. And these sort of, important voice acting will be, of course, covered with the live recordings. Unfortunately, these recordings, the audio decided to mix itself up, and, well, there's just no recording. It's just the original live commentary from the live stream that I did of this. The first few videos will include those live streams, so if I show anything that involves the plot, you might hear some voice acting, which will later then disappear when I've decided to convert to this. As you can see, they are performing their amazing ritual to summon Shenron in order to get us all in. Now, I'm not completely sure that this is a good idea to do. I mean, that kind of purple energy orb thing is just not a very pleasant thing. And as you can see, it just, well, it messes them up. And apparently there is some kind of, hidden warp engine in that thing, because they activated it, boom, done, we're gone. And then, of course, we arrive in the next expansion. I love that loading screen, though. And now we have officially launched into the next expansion, as I've previously mentioned. And, well, I've never seen. It's been a long time since I've seen Dalaran that populated since. So the guy is like so there's a little bit of a welcoming guy, and he asks us to tell us, and then all of a sudden Nick Fury showed up. I know, that's not really his name, but come on, he kind of looks like Nick Fury. So this is basically where we pick up the starting quest for getting the class order started. I was admiring his amazing flaming tiger shoulder pads, and, well, the guy is just really chill about it, of course. To be honest, he's pretty gruff. He's exactly the kind of guy you can expect to be called a lord, particularly with a last name like Tyrosis. I think the guy is pretty badass. So what he's actually asking of me to do specifically is to gather up a few buddies who apparently can help us out, in some way with the order, which involves finding a dwarf and some old guy. So I just get straight to that. Now, the first one we find is this dwarf guy that has been apparently accompanied by some kind of Tauren, and he speaks of some kind of Shield Hill, which kind of gives you just a bit of a dead giveaway to the whole idea of, maybe this guy's looking for the protection paladin thing. just a guess, if I gotta be honest. I gotta say though, the dude is rocking some shiny armor. But he's got some information we need, so apparently he wants to help us out. So all help is accepted. And well, after that I find the guy who's supposed to be helping us get this other artifact, which is of course the hammer that can apparently heal people. Don't ask me how that works. So the guy is, you know, just fixing up his horse, and we just get along. And dude, you gotta come with us, man. Maybe you can help us out. Well, and he's like, no, I don't want to help. You're going to help me. Hey, wait. Nah, never mind. Anyway, he's being a man who still believes that we can help him out, and apparently we have to. So pretty much that. And afterwards, I arrived at Crassus' landing with the intention, of course, of getting what I wanted. Now, there's still just 3 artifacts to choose from. As you can see, the choices are the Silver Hand, Truthguard, and the Ashbringer. Everybody loves the Ashbringer, but I'm a Truthguard myself due to my tanking spec. So without further ado, as you can see, I was wildly swinging over it, but Truthguard is my shtick. So, too bad for all you Ashbringer love boys, because it's that way all the way. And afterwards I need to talk to the $1 million dwarf, because apparently he's the guy who knows where this thing is. So apparently I need to chat him up a bit to ask how things are going. Apparently he still thinks he can help out in some way. And well, he talks about that apparently he did some little soul searching after the Lich King kicked the bucket. So it's just from there on out we move in. And, well, let's basically get to work straight away to finding out where this shield is. And apparently it is located in Northrend. Of all the places, it is in Northrend. Kind of makes sense, but still annoying considering it's in flippin' Howling Fjord. It's not even close, because there is a portal that goes to Northrend, but it's Rumrest Temple. That's in Dragonblight. It is a far away distance, but I guess for the sake of plot it needs to be done there, and just for the sake for some people finding out what Northrend is like. That's how you can figure it. Anyway, after arriving at Howling Fjord, apparently we've arrived at some kind of cemetery where apparently this guy has been what we're looking for exactly. So the point is apparently there's this shield that was forged by Tyr that can help us out quite a bit, but it was apparently ended in the hands of some kind of Reichel, and he apparently still has it to this day. But unfortunately for us, history is not on our side here, and we have just no idea what this thing is. So we're being sent in to gather clues, and apparently it's within a graveyard. So we have to talk to the dead, which apparently works. So after taking care of a few of them, because I couldn't find the first one immediately, I found the correct one immediately, and then these two showed up and they basically take care of business. And so basically that's pretty much on it. So he just starts casting, and then this Vrykul spirit is gonna pop out of the ground. As you can see, he makes a very grandiose entrance. And he is, of course, not very happy being stirred from the dead. I can kinda get behind that. But apparently he knows, of course, about Truthguard. And well, he basically tells us, but it is apparently not where we expected it to be. Apparently they've been sticking that thing at some old tomb in the Broken Isles, but specifically Stormheim, of course. As you can see, other players are getting around as well. And so the whole idea is that apparently it's been stuck there, and it's been stuck there ever since, well, when it was originally brought there. And until then, we need to, well, find out where it is and, well, get it, because we need it. So I went back to Dalaran, took a trip to Stormheim, in particularly where the place called, I think it's called King's Rest or something like that. Shield's Rest could be, I don't know. But apparently I got stuck with some other... Apparently Golden Dwarf again makes his return. And alongside with him is this elven dude who's apparently going to be... gonna be providing the healing for this little job, because apparently it's set into a kind of group setting idea. But unfortunately, we do have a bit of a obstacle. I did find a bit of an obstacle in the way, and there's this Vrykul lady who just gets in the way, and she's going all Gandalf like, "You shall not pass!" And she refuses to let us in. So there wasn't much of an option then to just, well, we need to fight her, so we have to beat the crap out of her. It's not really a very difficult thing to do. So we fight her, and she sometimes shoots these arrows which you can then use against her. It's pretty useful, but fortunately she didn't really prove to be that much of a complicated enemy to me. So we take care of it, we kill her, we kill the dragon, and afterwards we entered the tomb, which surprisingly, as you shall have seen soon enough, is still filled with enemies. Because, of course it is. Because it's never going to be that easy. So, we fight these pissed off spirits inside. And then we just need to, you know, run upwind. Luckily the horse makes it a little bit easier. These guys just channeling this air, which don't seem to be, but as soon as you just hit them once, they just immediately break off all that kind of stuff. And we get to the bitch smacking about. So I get rid of that little problem, get rid of that one. Afterwards, I apparently get shot in the face with frickin' lasers, which apparently I was supposed to endure. It went better than expected, but I didn't know this was gonna happen, and I didn't exactly know, and I was, oh my god, and almost my face got burned off right there. Luckily, I was able to survive it somehow or other. And then was this guy, who's apparently the dude who's been holding on to that shield for a century, or well, longer than that. But now he is Eogrim, he's called Eogrim the Truth Seeker, and he's the champion of Tyr, and he wants to see if I am worthy of bearing that shield. Now, so basically, how does one prove himself to be worthy of wielding a shield? Well, as with World of Warcraft's custom, there's only one way to prove that. It's by beating the snot out of him, and this guy is no exception to the rules. So we basically get to that. So what's the whole idea behind Truthguard? Well, Truthguard's apparently this shield that Tyr decided to create to, apparently, it's of course this extremely protective bulwark thing, but it is also apparently a weapon that was meant to shed light to Loken's betrayal, because to those who are not completely familiar with the lore, Loken, which is one of the fallen keepers back in Ulduar, went a bit, well, as his name kind of implies, towards the Norse mythology. Is based on Loki. He's not as big as a douche as the others. He's not the Tom Hiddleston kind of guy, but he basically just started deceiving people because he apparently got his mind a little, you know, altered thanks to the old gods. And when Tyr found out, he decided to create this artifact that allows him to shed light to this whole thing. And, well, that's why it's called Truthguard. By the way, during this fight, this lady just gets involved, and I guess it kind of makes sense, because I'm not fighting on my own as well, but this just seems a little bit of a cheeky thing to do, a bit of a cheating thing. I mean, it's still just me with two other guys, but then there's him and her, and that just seems a little, well, a bit like cheating, you know? It's just not really fair. She tries to put him in an ice block again, but this time apparently it failed. Apparently she put herself into the ice block. And, well, it's just not a very complicated fight, but I guess it's just meant, you know, to at least give something of a challenge. You don't actually kill the guy, you just beat the snot out of him until he's like, yeah, you're pretty good at it. Apparently she's still trying to do something. And, well, the ice gets in the way. But, unfortunately for her, we were worthy, and I'm given what I deserve, which is, of course, Truthguard, which is this amazing looking shield, if I've got to be honest. And, well, it's been an interesting little job to getting this thing in hand. It's a lot of traveling, not that much fighting though, but I guess that makes sense. they kept it well balanced enough, I guess. So, well, there you go. That's Truthguard. It's a pretty fancy shield, though. It's not the most popular, I guess, but it still works. Works quite well, to be honest, though. It's a fancy looking shield. I'll give it a bit of a wing motif and all that. And, well, it just works, I guess. You know, there's nothing really else to say about it. And then this guy's just like, yeah, sure, you keep that shield, man. You deserve that shield. So that's basically the whole premise of the whole damn thing. You get the shield and you get the heck out of here. And then the dwarf is like, yeah, great, now you can get yourself out of here on the hippogriff. And as a little nudge, wink, wink to the whole paladin thing, they use bubbles to get themselves harfed. And then afterwards I get myself out of the tomb, and apparently we need to go back to Dalaran, and I talk to Nick Fury again, and then Nick Fury tells me to go to Light's Hope Chapel. This is what I meant with a lot of travel. First from Warrior's Temple to Howling Fjord, now from Dalaran Crater to Light's Hope Chapel. Well, Blizzard likes having you travel around a bit, so apparently there's this sanctum. If you can't see it, I'm using these, you know, the hand gesture. There's apparently a sanctum beneath, the chapel that nobody knew about until now. I mean, how long has it been there and nobody decided to take a peek? Apparently the floor beneath the place, as you're about to see, is actually capable of being withdrawn, and apparently there's a whole base of operation. Look at it! How has that been hidden all that time? I mean, you just can't hide that just like that. It shouldn't be possible, but what are you gonna do about it, right? Anyway, so I get down here and I make it a little bit dramatic, but I got really bored of that real quick, so I just started running again. And it's actually a pretty nice place. Kind of works as a, you know, sort of underground chapel kind of construction. And you get this amazing RP greetings. Everybody just kneels down before you because, well, you're the big bad guy. You're the big bad man. Well, you're not the bad man. You're just the big boss now. You're the guy in charge. The El Mano. You're the guy who's going to be taking the... who will be cracking skulls, taking names, the whole shabam-a-lam. And so that's the whole premise of this whole idea. So you get in here and everybody, you know, gives you the salute, they give you the bow, they give you the everything. And it's all this very long-winded ceremony. I don't know why Blizzard wanted it that badly into the game, but I guess it kind of makes sense. It just seemed a little weird to me. So, Nick Fury again is waiting for me, and apparently it's all about this whole initiation matter, because you're not just going to be just a guy in the order, you're the guy in the order, and that's apparently a pretty big deal to these guys. And so, they probably may make this into a pretty big ceremony. So, what do I think about that all? Well, the ceremonies may be a little, on the nose and a bit unnecessary. Do I mind it? Not too much. But I definitely like that little sort of, you know, Blizzard's idea on creating this idea that you really create. By the way, there's plenty of voice acting in this, which is definitely a plus to me. Some people might find it annoying, but I kind of, it finally gives you the sort of voices that Blizzard would suit to these characters. And as you can see, he gives us the rundown. Everybody who's a paladin has decided to join up with us to have a bit of a, you know, get together. Now apparently the whole ceremony thing is very interesting, but you also need to do some paperwork, and I'm not a really big fan of the paperwork. So what it actually requires me to be considered a High Lord is that apparently I need to put my name in this holy yellow pages book. So what do I put into it? My credentials? So I was like, do I put my credentials in here? Do I put my phone number in here? It's just a very... So basically, this is a holy yellow pages. You put your name in it, and boom, holy yellow pages done. And well, then you get acknowledged as being the new High Lord of the Silver Hand, which I guess kind of is a great thing to be, considering you get to boss these people around. At least quite a few of them sitting down there. And I kind of like that. I mean, it's a pretty sweet deal. I mean, you get these people under your charge, and I can't imagine that being a bad thing. So Nick Fury makes this whole damnable speech about all this crap, and then these people show up, and they all give their, you know, kind of fealty to the. So as you can see, there's different kind of paladin groups get together. You know, our guys from the Draenei, guys from the Blood Elves, the Sunwalkers of the Tauren. They get the whole bunch together, and at this point, he's just basically telling me, go empower that weapon of yours. You've had a hard day at work. Go do that. So I just get into the altar, and apparently it is just one option. And when you pick it, it just, you know, opens up the whole shebang, and it is quite a bit. I mean, look at it. It just boop, 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 boop. And it all just opens up. I also decided to take a little look at the different appearances. They got some pretty fancy ones in it, but at the moment they're all sealed. So afterwards, the whole thing now comes down to getting into selecting a zone to attack. And later on, of course, the order extends further into more impressive work, you know, getting the whole class campaign off the ground. So there's only one thing that I'll have to say at this point, and is this any good? And quite frankly, it is very good. It's a nice introduction to the sort of groups that would join up with an order like this. The whole introduction to the order is done very well, as you can, and the design of this whole area is done fantastic. They've got quartermasters, they've got everything. You've got target dummies. The whole place is just complete, and it has everything, and you're going to be seeing a lot of paladins in this place. And we're actually a little less Ashbringers than I expected. I really expected that everybody would be having an Ashbringer here. So, but that was, and we even have Adric the Pure. We literally have a dungeon boss as a quartermaster, which I guess he really preferred because he really didn't like us beating the snot out of him. So I guess that kind of makes sense. But without further ado, what do I think about this? It's fine with me. I can live with this. I mean, I got my own little hangout, and the reason that they probably went with class order halls is, of course, also because of this whole Legion has decimated every army in existence. But I think the choice was also made because, well, back with the garrisons in war during launch, almost nobody could get into their garrisons because the section for the phasing just kept clogging up. And that's pretty much the whole premises. That's the whole idea of this whole thing. So, to wrap it up real quick, this is like I said, this is going to be a series of videos which involves me, of course, doing all this fun stuff across the game and showing off all the interesting little things that I can find throughout the progression system of leveling and watching all the zones and seeing everything that happens. Still, it's going to be interesting to see. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in seeing more of these videos. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Adios and bye-bye!